My friend, you see this stuff is really creepy. Can you see this mark? Oh my god. Good people of Earth, you see this mark here? This one. The big one that I cannot touch because of how it feels. You see now insects are wonderful creatures and full of love. And the other day when we had taken a walk in the jungle to search for fruits, you see, the insect decided to join us in good vibes. Oh yeah, fruits like this one. You see how it looks jungle-ish? Yeah, these fruits. You see, they are crazy stuff when you go to get them. Now those good vibes insects decided to take a nap on our face. You see, when we had also slept annoying. You see, the universe out there is full of good vibes. And all those animals is like they left some kind of message. I don't know what they were trying to mean because they left this mark on my face here, and my friend also has his on some critical place. Now he's working in some funny type of way. You see, but we are surprised. Now we went to my grandmother and asked her, oh, what's going on? Is this normal? They told us, wait, that insect is called an Nairobi fly. And you have had an encounter with it. Good people of Earth, have you ever heard of it? Have you ever had an encounter with it? Leave some comment. How long do you think this mark will last? Well, I'd like to know, man, because it's pretty surprising and wonderful. So, thank you very much for watching up to this part. Respect to yourself for clicking this video. You see, that gesture alone is a good vibes gesture and deserves a lot of blessings and reward. You see? And wonderful. So, today we shall be reacting together to a whole variety of videos trying to send love out there to humans so that they can unite, be forgiving, and unite and have good vibes as well. You see? Straight out of Africa. I'm your host, Y311H. Henry, buckle up, watch till the end, hit the like button, and leave your comments. Let's dive in, man. Good vibes on the end.
So y'all know I'm an Avatar The Last Airbender stan, and Netflix just dropped this 8-part series of the Avatar. It's supposed to be like live version. Y'all, I'm 5 minutes in and I've already had a revelation. So I want to share that real quick before I get back to it. And I can't even tell y'all how aligned this is because I literally was just studying the secret doctrine and we were just talking about the masculine and feminine principles. So the Fire Nation is supposed to represent the masculine principle. And you know what part of us in this physical world is masculine? Our body. Our physical being, okay? There are 3 chakras that rule that physical being. The bottom 3 chakras rule money, sex, and power. Hence why that's always being shoved down our throat, because it keeps you locked into your masculine principle, into your fire element. If you're gonna train to be an avatar, you have to be air element first, so you have to be an airbender. Well, air represents intellect, okay? It's your mind. The first kingdom to be attacked by the Fire Nation to keep you locked into your masculine principle was the intellect, was your mind, because the universe is mental. If they have power over your mind, they have power over everything. The water element is your emotions, and the earth element is nature. So it is what grounds you. If you're ever feeling emotional, you go and put your feet in the ground and you discharge those emotions in the ground. Because the earth principle is what's all around us. It's the aether, it's what keeps us connected. So Avatar The Last Airbender is a documentary about alchemy. It's about balancing all of your principles, fire, air, earth, and water, so that all 4 elements work together and you reach this state of paranirvana, or this state where your emotions don't control you, where you're thinking clearly and critically, where you're grounded in your decision making, where your emotions are just signals to help you understand what your mind is trying to perceive. You become the avatar when you ascend to this level in this plane, which can be reached by releasing your masculine principle, which is your Fire Nation. See, the fire in us is very passionate. It's desire, right? But fire is supposed to be creativity, but it's not supposed to take over everything. It's supposed to give us audacity, but it can get out of hand. As you know, if you start a fire, all of a sudden it's down a fucking block. So the first thing you have to do is get your fucking mind right. Air is your intellect. You need to know more. Water is your emotions. You need to learn how to manage those and also understand them, because they help you to understand the mind. Fire is your passion. It's your creativity. It's also your audacity, your ego, but it's also passion and desire. And earth is your aether. It's the connecting tissue. It's what grounds us all. And it's in everything that you see and everything you interact with, including yourself. Earth is nature. I'm going to come back with a full review of the show once I get done watching it, but I just wanted to drop those gems. Happy healing, friends.
Did you hear about the time when the creator God decided to actually have kids with Eve? I know you're thinking this is a wild story, but it is actually hidden within a sacred scripture called the Secret Book of John. And this is a very unique mythology that holds a lot of clues as to what the potential purpose of humanity might be. Within this mythology, the demiurge creator god Yaldabaoth actually procreates with his creation Eve in a failed attempt to capture humanity's essence and actually create an offspring line for himself that harnesses the divine light. However, Adam and Eve go on to actually produce their own line in Seth. Now, this is what we call Sethian Gnosticism, which puts a big emphasis on the line of Seth being the divine line of humanity, if you will. Now, I'm certainly not trying to perpetuate that particular idea, but I do find it fascinating that we actually have a mythology like this that really calls into question what the creator God's end goal was and what his purpose was. And clearly, in a lot of these ancient mythologies, they believed that this God was a physical being who had the ability to procreate with his creation. I just stumbled on more clues within the Bible that humanity is essentially a hybridization program by what we used to call the gods, but we now call extraterrestrial entities. This verse in Psalms, I don't think I will ever read it the same. You've got to check this out. Psalms 8:4 says, "What is man that you would be mindful of him? And what is the Son of Man that you would care for him?" Now, we do not have to look very far into antiquity to understand that human beings were pretty adamant about worshiping particular deities and even offering them things that were, let's just say, quite the sacrifice, if you will. Then we get the whole idea of Jesus and the cross and all of that. By the way, this is not a religious channel. I am deconstructed, and I'm honestly piecing all of these things together into a bigger narrative at this point. And I find it really interesting. Not only is the book of Psalms basically one big worship chorus for a particular deity, and there's some really disturbing things in it, but this actually uses the terminology Son of Man, which, and I've said this many times, Jesus himself used. Now, Jesus also compared and contrasted the Father in spirit and truth that he spoke of with the deities of the time. Now, if you follow my videos and my theories, you understand that I'm not just talking about what you would consider false gods. I'm talking about every cultural deity of the time, including the main one. And like I said, worship of these deities was certainly not a laughing matter. These were very, very serious rituals that people did to communicate with these gods, to get them to come down, to meet with them, to receive prophecy, receive blessings. And a lot of theories are that it was essentially just what people thought was bringing the rain, etc. But I think it goes much deeper than that into actually a higher evolved entity than humanity. And clearly this verse is one of the verses that Jesus would have been referencing when he called himself the Son of Man over and over and over. That was not an identifier as the Messiah. He was identifying himself as everyone on the planet, literally the human species versus the gods. He talked about what the Son of Man would actually be able to do. And I think that might be where one of the biggest cover-ups comes in. My name's Cub. I'm your guide to the rabbit hole. Follow for more.
Your body gets old and dies, and therefore you die. So you think, So you've been conditioned to think. But that's not the case, because your body is energy and energy alone. And what keeps this energy together is the real you, is your higher self. That's what keeps this energy together, that you call your body, and you perceive everything else as a physical reality. Your body dies only when who you really are, decides not to focus on it anymore. So when you decide not to focus on it, that energy goes somewhere else. But you never cease to exist, because you again are the one that is aware of the body, and you are the one that keeps it together, and you are the one that ultimately decides whether to focus somewhere else or not. Love and light, no matter what you do, be the greatest you. And yes, you never can cease to exist. Shine bright.
Dirt and witchcraft. What do you use it for? Regular, nondescript dirt or mud in witchcraft is used for grounding. If you can't spend time out in nature due to weather, temperature, etc. to ground, you can bring the dirt inside and lay it out on a plastic bag, a sheet, a tarp, whatever, and just place your feet in it and ground that way. Graveyard dirt is a kind of dirt that you hear about a lot on TikTok specifically, but nobody ever really tells you what it's used for. Nondescript, generic dirt from a cemetery or a graveyard is used for necromancy work, ending relationships, new beginnings. Now, if you take that dirt from a specific grave, it takes on the characteristics of the person who is buried in that grave. There's a little bit of homework. This particular dirt was taken from the grave of a serial killer. So tell me in the comments what you think its correlation might be. The third kind of dirt I want to mention is crossroads dirt, or dirt taken from a crossroad. Its correlation is going to be decision-making, luck, success, opportunity. My favorite use of crossroads dirt, however, goes into road openers.
How does the brain actually store a memory, chemically and electrically? You're asking the right girl, because I'm Rachel, the neuroscientist. I'm going to split this into two parts. This is going to be chemical, part two is going to be electrical. So imagine off in the periphery we have two brain cells, right? You can't see them. But what you can see are their synapses. Now we have giving synapses and receiving synapses, kind of like a top and a bottom synapse, right? Sometimes being a good teacher means using language that people are already familiar with. Don't come for me. Okay. Now, to get from experience to long-term memory, there are several steps. And one of the first steps in the process, chemically speaking, is that this giving synapse has a kind of calcium imprint. With this calcium imprint in tow, this giving synapse, or really it's called a pre-synapse, is just more ready to give. Give what, you might be asking? Well, let's talk about it. Well, it's brain chemicals, of course, or otherwise known as neurotransmitters. Common neurotransmitters that you might be familiar with are like serotonin or dopamine. So the pre-synapse, or the giving synapse, is just more ready to release that neurotransmitter to be picked up by the receiver. You can see how that one thing already has kind of increased the strength of that synaptic connection, right? It's more likely to release neurotransmitter, more likely to transmit information. Now let's take a little look at the receiving synapse, or the post-synapse. Several things can happen. It can change shape. Think like your bicep getting bigger at the gym. It can increase the number of ports there are to receive those chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. There are also other chemicals in the brain that aren't neurotransmitters called ions. And this is where things are going to start to get electrical. Join me for part two.
Witchy don'ts. Can we please stop gatekeeping information from new practitioners? I'm seeing way too many incidents of a newer practitioner asking a simple question about something and being laughed at, made fun of, and degraded for not knowing the answer. These people are forgetting that every single one of us was new at some point in time. We weren't born knowing all of this. We spent time learning and researching, and a lot of us, when we were coming up in our path and in the craft, we didn't have nearly the resources available that we have now. And newer practitioners, by and large, are afraid to ask questions, to participate in anything, because they're afraid they're going to be laughed at and degraded again. This is ridiculous. This is a community that's already greatly stigmatized in the world. We shouldn't be doing it to each other. We shouldn't be hating each other and attacking each other like this. If a newer practitioner comes to you and asks a question and they trust you enough to ask that question, just answer it for them. If you don't know the answer, tell them that and tell them where maybe they can find it. But can we stop doing this to each other?
Okay, you can come claim them. You want them? Oh my goodness. Don't hurt them. Oh, it's so risky. Careful.
Oh man, that's some good vibes human with good vibes animals. You see? Much love and respect to him. And then they say also this other wonderful human here with a big telescope. And today they decided to zoom in the sky. And then there's something that caught their attention. You see? This star here that seems to be moving in some peculiar way. Do you think stars normally do this? You see, shooting stars, maybe I think they go faster than this. Then what type of star is this? Or the navigating star, or who knows what type of star is this? Good people of Earth, please leave your comments, man. You see, from where do you come from? Have you ever seen such type of creepy stuff, or creepy type of stars? Because from this side of the world, I think we have seen some stars moving randomly here and there, and you wonder what's really going on in the skies up there. You see, oh, this is really creepy. You see, this one is happening just above our heads here, and it's some creepy stuff. We need to unite and understand this. You see, they're scared. You see, and then this good vibes guy decided to extend the memory of this roach. You see, and they give the roach a computer-like brain. And the roach is now more clever. It's even able to navigate the pathways on that model of a map there. That is good vibes, man. When humans can do that.
What I'm about to show you blew my mind. And it's my own personal opinion. You do not have to believe what I am about to show you. You can comment below all of your comments, and that is perfectly okay. I could be totally wrong, but I'm about to show you something pretty cool that I am interested in, and I thought was awesome. Welcome to episode 19 of my lunch break. Alright, now let's get into this. This first picture is a building that was in the World's Fair in Philadelphia. They had it open in the 1800s. You guys can look up the year that the Philadelphia World's Fair is. You know that I'm not lying. This is the 1800s. They said it was a half a mile long, this building. A half a mile long in the 1800s. What is going on here? Now remember, this is before power tools were created. They didn't have cranes or all that. So the first power tool was created in 1895. Okay, so this is pre-power tools. They built a half-mile long building. Now the best part about it is that they tore it down. It's a horrible part about it, but the best part about it is that they tore it down, meaning that I'm guessing, in my own opinion, you don't have to believe me, but my guess is that this was here before, and they had to make a reason to tear it all down. And I think this was what all the World's Fairs were. Now, let's go on to the next picture. This is the Mark Hopkins Mansion in San Francisco, California. I'm sorry, but I thought that we were not building things like this in California. I thought we didn't go there until 1850. So what is this incredible mansion doing in San Francisco, California? What is going on? Okay, let's go to the next picture. The Cathedral of St. Paul. I'm sorry, but have you seen these cathedrals around the world? They're incredible. The architecture are things that we don't do today. And if you don't believe me, go look at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Europe that was burned on fire, and they're still trying to repair it. Okay, so look at that thing. Look at this thing. It's incredible. I mean, in Minnesota, what is going on here? This is United States of America. Why are we building? I thought this stuff was only in Europe. Next picture. What is this? This looks like ancient Greece. In America? What's going on? This was in Chicago in the 1800s. Okay. Look at the pillars on that thing. Incredible. The architecture and the stonework with no tools. They're telling us this is a chisel. You are telling me that you can hire a bunch of people and they can go chisel this stuff? I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. I don't care who you hire. You can hire 1 million people. I don't care how many people you hire. This is incredible work. What are they going to do? How are they going to carry all this stuff? And why is it destroyed? Why did they destroy all this stuff? You have to ask these questions at least. I mean, what in the world? That is incredible. Look at all that stuff. It's incredible. The pillars, I mean, what is this? Why did they do this? Why did they build this in the first place? A World's Fair? And then to knock it down, I mean, it's incredible. What does it even say on there? It says a bunch of stuff engraved into it. Ugh, right by the water like that? Incredible. Alright, let's go to the next picture. The Tower of Jewels. This is in America, people. What is going on here? This is pre-tools. Look at how small the people are. I mean, amazing. That doesn't look like anything we build today. Come on, if somebody built that today in America or anywhere, if somebody started building this, I think people would be incredibly impressed. We don't build like this at all. We haven't built like this for years, hundreds of years. What is this? Look at this thing. Look at that. Unbelievable. I mean, pillars up at the top of it with no cranes, remember, guys. No cranes. They didn't have a crane. No crane. How are they getting up there? They can't carry that stuff up there. Come on. I mean, well, you got a ladder. You're gonna carry it. Look how little the people are. Look at that. Come on. All right, let's go to the next picture. This is St. Francis Xavier College Church. Amazing. These churches are not we don't build like this. We don't build like this. I mean, remember, these are my opinions. You guys could think what you want. You think we build like this? Then so be it. But we don't. There's no way. We don't build like this. These are incredible. Look at the circular windows in the middle there. Look at that. Unbelievable. I mean, I know, like, we all talk about the pyramids and stuff, but why not the stuff that's sitting right in front of us? Our buildings today are garbage. We build like box garbage buildings, and they last like 100 years and they're gone. This is in pristine condition after hundreds of years, I'm sure. This is way older than they're saying. Look at that thing. Let's go to the next picture. Salt Lake City, Utah. Okay. Holy cow. Look at that. Look at that. Unbelievable. I mean, with the mountains in the background. It's so cool. Look at that. It looks like a castle. It looks like a castle. Not a county building. Who builds their county building like this? Nobody's building their county building like this.
These are incredible structures. What do you think about them? And then look at this mountain that looks almost like a pyramid. What do you think happened here? Is this a normal formation of rocks in the universe, or this is something just covered in vegetation? Something that was a pyramid a long time ago. Please, wonderful Radin, leave your thoughts on that, man. What is that? What do you think it is or was? And then there's this wonderful women from the past. And what is this device here they are using? You see, English people, these people are probably some people's ancestors that are watching. You see, much love and respect to yourself, man. Good vibes till the end. Look at this device. Some device that was just along the street there. What is it used for? For communication, or what is this? Some satellite, or oh my god, this is crazy. This is insane. This is how they used to do it in the past. Oh, you see, from this side of the world, I'm very sure my ancestors were then hunting and gathering, still covered in some grass-made clothes. You see, generating good vibes and searching for fruits in the wilderness. You see, that's something that has always been from this side of the world, you see. But now it's like people in other places who are focused on building stuff for communication, because this is good vibes. In the past, I don't think myself I'm able to build a phone with a satellite like that one right now and call someone in some places. Can you? Leave your comments, you see. And then there's this good vibes. Annual. No. Oh, the door is locked. Which one is that?
Let's start with Atlantis. I hate to put a timeline on things, but I'm guessing around 25,000 years ago?
Further back than that,
okay,
my love, but yes, very special time period indeed.
I've heard from other channels and other guys that humanity carries a lot of trauma from the Atlantean periods. Is much of what we're dealing with on the planet now.
As you see, during the Atlantean time period, consciousness had grown exponentially and experiments were taking place. And yes, humanity as well as other species had to learn that this is not how expansion was to occur in the most beneficial way. So those that understood this opted into a alternative experience where they could learn in a slightly different way. You may call it traumatic in the sense that what once was known was sort of erased or taken. We would also like to call it a teaching or learning opportunity for the expansion of humanity that they opted into. Humanoids in the Atlantean time period, but we would suggest that they were more fifth dimensional beings They were not essentially what the human is today.
The Atlantean karma that we're dealing with, is that just more energetic as opposed to DNA?
I would say that this is more energetic. It is a consciousness that was tampered with in order to bring in the consciousness of a humanoid. The Atlanteans were, she says, like a type of human species. Basically, it's a different type of humanoid. It's a higher evolved human conscious that was there.
Is it a mixture of different beings? Like, were there Palladians and Mantoids and
She says yes.
Lyrans? Did we start this fall back into third density? So I guess what density was the Atlantean experience?
She says it's a fifth dimension, fourth density.
Well, please leave your minds, peace of mind there.